Rain was falling hard on the dark highway when a girl named Emily stumbled barefoot along the edge of the road, her clothes soaked, her face pale and eyes wide with fear. She had been running for hours from the people who hurt her. The world had turned cruel, and she had no one left. She saw the lights of a bar ahead, dim and flickering, and she followed them, hoping only for warmth. But what she found inside changed her life forever. Inside the bar was a group of bikers, rough-looking, leather jackets, patches, and tattoos. They all turned to look when she entered, shivering and afraid. One man stood out, tall, broad-shouldered, with a long beard and eyes that carried both power and pain. He was known as Iron Jack, the president of the local Hells Angels chapter. Emily froze, but before she could say a word, she collapsed to the floor. When she woke up, she was in a small room wrapped in a blanket. Beside her was a woman with kind eyes and long, dark hair. It was Jack's wife, Sarah, who smiled gently and handed her a cup of tea. Emily wanted to leave, but her body was weak and Sarah insisted she stay for a while. She said no one in their house would hurt her. Emily did not believe that at first, but she soon saw that Sarah was nothing like the people she had run from. Days passed. Emily started helping around the clubhouse. She cleaned, cooked, and stayed quiet. The bikers kept their distance, but Jack noticed the haunted look in her eyes. One evening, Sarah invited Emily to a lake nearby, saying she needed a break from the noise. Emily agreed, and for the first time in months, she laughed. They sat by the water. Sarah told her about her own past, about how Jack had found her years ago when she was broken and lost. Emily listened and saw that even people who looked dangerous could have hearts of gold. The sky began to darken, and a sudden wind swept across the lake. The water turned rough. A storm rolled in. Sarah's scarf flew off into the water, and before Emily could stop her, Sarah went after it. The lake was deep and the current strong. A second later, Sarah vanished beneath the waves. Emily screamed for help, but no one was around. Without thinking, she jumped into the freezing water, searching blindly. Her lungs burned, her vision blurred, but she kept diving again and again until finally she felt something. She grabbed Sarah's hand and pulled with everything she had. When they reached the surface, Sarah wasn't breathing. Emily dragged her to the shore. She remembered something her mother once taught her and began chest compressions, counting the seconds. 1 minute passed, 2 minutes, 3. Her hands shook and tears mixed with the rain. She whispered, "Please breathe, please come back." At 9 long minutes, Sarah finally coughed up water, gasping for air. Emily fell beside her, crying from exhaustion as the sound of motorcycle engines roared in the distance. Jack and the others arrived to see his wife alive in Emily's arms. He froze, unable to speak. Sarah reached for him, whispering that the girl had saved her. Jack looked at Emily, like seeing her for the first time, and something changed in his eyes. He took off his leather jacket and placed it over her shoulders, saying quietly that she was one of them now. From that night, everything was different. Emily became part of their world. The brothers who once scared her now protected her. The women called her sister. They learned their code. Loyalty, respect, and family meant more to them than anything. Jack often said, blood made you related, but loyalty made you family. Emily still had nightmares. She would wake up shaking, remembering the faces of those she ran from. But now, when that happened, Sarah was there to hold her hand and remind her that she was safe. One day, Jack took her to the garage and showed her a small red motorcycle, freshly painted with her name on it. AFFA on the back. Always, forever, forever angels. The family she never had. Months passed and Emily grew stronger. She worked in the shop, fixing bikes, helping at events. She even went on rides across the open road. The wind against her face felt like freedom. She found laughter again, something she thought she had lost forever. But fate wasn't done testing her. One night, a rival gang attacked during a charity event. Shots were fired, chaos erupted. Emily saw one of the bikers fall. She ran through the smoke to help him despite the danger. Jack shouted for her to stay back, but she refused, dragging the wounded man behind cover. Her hands covered in blood, she stayed calm until it was over. When the fight ended and the police arrived, the angels had survived because of her bravery. Jack looked at her with pride and said that she had the heart of an angel. After that night, no one called her the runaway girl anymore. She earned her patch and the right to wear their colors. Sarah watched her during the ceremony, tears in her eyes. She whispered that she had gained a daughter that day. Emily smiled, knowing it was true because for the first time in her life, she wasn't running anymore. She had found people who would fight for her just as she had fought for them. Years later, Emily stood at that same lake with Sarah beside her, the water calm and silver under the setting sun. They laughed, remembering that storm. Sarah said she owed her life to Emily, but Emily shook her head, saying that Sarah and Jack had saved her first. They stood there quietly, the rumble of distant motorcycles echoing like a heartbeat of a family bound not by blood, but something stronger. And when the wind rose and the lake rippled, Emily looked at her reflection, no longer a frightened girl, but a woman forged by pain, courage, and love. And she whispered to herself, once a runaway, now an angel, forever.